No one saw this coming. During a live TV broadcast, Taehyung said something that completely changed the atmosphere. The crowd went silent, and Jungkook's reaction heartbreaking. You can see the emotion in his eyes, trying to hold back tears as Taehyung's words hit deeper than anyone expected. What did Taehyung really mean? And why did Jungkook look so shaken? Let's break down the exact moment that left millions of fans speechless. It was supposed to be just another light-hearted TV appearance, laughter, games, and fun. But then, something shifted. The camera caught Taehyung glancing at Jungkook, his expression softer than usual. The air between them suddenly grew heavy. As the host joked, Taehyung leaned toward the mic and said something unexpected, words that silenced the room. Jungkook froze. His eyes widened, then flickered with emotion. It wasn't anger. It wasn't confusion. It was something deeper, something raw. The audience didn't immediately realize what had happened, but Army watching live knew. They replayed that clip over and over again, noticing every tiny detail, Taehyung's tone, Jungkook's trembling lips, the way he tried to smile but couldn't hide the tears forming in his eyes. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. What did Taehyung mean by those words? Why did Jungkook react like that? The broadcast ended with the usual smiles and goodbyes, but something was different. As soon as the cameras stopped rolling, Jungkook quietly walked off stage. He didn't say much, just a small nod to the staff before disappearing backstage. Taehyung followed him a few minutes later. The hallway was silent except for the faint hum of the crowd outside. Jungkook stood by the dressing room mirror, his reflection showing eyes still glistening. When Taehyung entered, Jungkook didn't turn around. Jungkook, Taehyung's voice was low, almost trembling. There was a pause. Then Jungkook whispered, "Why did you say that, in front of everyone?" Taehyung took a deep breath. Because it was the truth. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. For a moment, Jungkook said nothing. The tension between them felt thick, but not hostile. It was full of emotion, honesty, and something unspoken for years. Taehyung took a step closer. "You've always been there for me, even when I didn't deserve it. I just needed you to know that." Jungkook finally turned, his eyes soft but wet. "You didn't have to say it on live TV," he said, voice breaking slightly. Taehyung smiled faintly. "Maybe I did. Because sometimes, the truth deserves to be heard." The room fell silent again, but this time it wasn't awkward. It was heavy with understanding that it took less than an hour for the clip to go viral. Fans all around the world were replaying that one scene, Taehyung's words, Jungkook's teary reaction, the silence that followed, hashtags like #TaeKookLive, #What did Taehyung say, and #Jungkook tears flooded Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Fan edits appeared instantly, slow-motion replays, emotional music, translations, theories. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What exactly did Taehyung mean? Some fans said it was a heartfelt confession. Others thought it was about something deeper, years of friendship, loyalty, and emotions they could never fully express publicly. Clips of Jungkook backstage, looking down and avoiding cameras, only fueled the speculation. A few staff members tried to calm things down, but the internet had already caught fire. In fan group chats, armies were crying, overanalyzing every glance, every word, every heartbeat. One fan even wrote, "You can tell Jungkook wasn't acting." That reaction was real. Meanwhile, Taehyung and Jungkook both stayed silent on social media. No posts, no stories, just silence. And that silence said more than words ever could. By the next morning, the situation had spiraled out of control. News outlets picked up the story, using headlines like, "Taehyung's unexpected words leave Jungkook in tears. What really happened on live TV?" HYB's PR team was already in crisis mode. They knew how powerful the BTS fandom could be. One wrong move, and the internet would explode again. Inside the company, a closed-door meeting began. Managers, media advisors, and publicists sat around a long table, screens showing endless clips of the viral moment. "Do we release a statement?" one asked. "No," another replied firmly. "Not yet." Silence keeps the mystery alive, but it also keeps control. But the members weren't thinking about PR. In the quiet of their dorm, Jungkook and Taehyung sat together, away from the chaos. Jungkook still looked distant, scrolling through fan posts in disbelief. "They're all talking about us," he murmured. Taehyung sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't mean for it to blow up like this." Jungkook looked up, meeting his eyes. "Then why did you say it?" Taehyung hesitated. "Because pretending didn't feel right anymore. I meant every word." The silence stretched again, but this time, Jungkook didn't look away. A faint smile appeared. "Then, maybe it's time we stop hiding what's real." Their words hung in the air, soft, sincere, and dangerously close to something the world wasn't ready to hear. Outside, fans continued to speculate. Inside, two hearts finally began to understand each other. Regarding the recent broadcast, we ask fans to avoid speculation. The members' words were taken out of context during a heartfelt moment. Please continue to show understanding and support. That was it. No details. No denial. Just vague words that raised even more questions. Within minutes, armies flooded social media again. Some believed the company was protecting the members' privacy. Others claimed HYBE was trying to cover something up. Meanwhile, Taehyung and Jungkook remained quiet. But that night, something unexpected happened. Jungkook went live. He looked calm, but his voice carried emotion. "I saw everything online," he said softly. "It's overwhelming. But please remember, not everything needs to be explained." He paused, eyes glancing off camera as if someone else was there. Then he smiled faintly. "Sometimes, words on stage come from a real place. And that's all that matters." Fans immediately noticed a familiar shadow behind him, a glimpse of someone with dark hair and a soft laugh. "Taehyung?" one fan commented. Jungkook read the chat, smiled wider, and simply said, "Maybe." The live ended after just a few minutes, but that was enough. The internet exploded again. Theories reignited. Clips were dissected frame by frame. But amid the noise, one thing was clear: whatever happened on that live TV moment wasn't an accident. It was real. The night after Jungkook's mysterious live, the world waited. Armies refreshed Weverse, Twitter, and Instagram every few minutes. Then, suddenly, Taehyung posted. It wasn't a long caption, just a photo of the stage lights from that fateful night. Underneath it, 5 simple words. "Some truths need no stage." Within seconds, comments flooded in. "Is this about Jungkook? What does he mean by truth? Are they okay?" The post hit 1 million likes in less than 10 minutes. Later that evening, Taehyung joined a live stream of his own. The mood was calm, soft lighting, gentle background music, and that familiar warmth in his voice. Fans could tell this wasn't about promotion or fan service. This was personal. He looked directly at the camera. "You've all been asking about that night," he said slowly. "And honestly, I didn't plan any of it." The words just came out. Maybe because they've been in my heart for a long time. The comments went wild. "Taehyung real. What did he just say?" But Taehyung just smiled faintly. He continued, "Sometimes, people think idols are only supposed to smile and perform. But behind the cameras, we're human too. We feel things deeply, maybe too deeply." He paused, his eyes lowering for a second before he whispered, "When I looked at Jungkook that night, I just couldn't hide it anymore." The live ended without further explanation. No dramatic confession, no follow-up. But fans didn't need one. The emotion in Taehyung's voice said it all. That night, #Taehyung said it trended #1 worldwide. And for the first time, both fandom and media agreed on one thing: something had changed between them forever. After Taehyung's live, everything went quiet again. The group had no schedules for a few days, a rare break. The world outside was still buzzing, but inside the dorm, things were calm. That night, Jungkook knocked softly on Taehyung's door. No cameras, no staff, just them. Taehyung looked up from his phone, surprised but calm. "Can we talk?" Jungkook asked. Taehyung nodded, setting his phone aside. For a moment, neither spoke. The air between them carried everything that had gone unsaid, the emotions from that night, the tension, the questions. Jungkook finally broke the silence. "When you said those words on live TV, it felt real. Too real."